Hi. I'm not professional, so I'm just going to start blabbing away. I've been running into a lot of games where we're doing like 90, Nightmare 70 and 80 and blah blah above. And people are really struggling to do damage. Like, I'm just seeing my teammates constantly never do damage, so I figured I'd try and give a quick guide on how to do damage. This is just so you can see how much damage I'm doing, roughly per game. I mean, it's dependent on what level we're doing. You know, if we're doing 70, it's like 614 billion, all that stuff. And you can see that our teammates aren't really. Four's doing good, but I think that people don't know how to build properly, and I think that's the issue. So I'm just going to give a quick insight to how I'm seeing this. Here's all my stats. Let me get rid of my my camera so you can actually see everything going on here. So just a quick skim. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you know, it's just a quick idea of what we've got. So when it comes to traits, I think this is really important that you need to know what your primary source of damage is, right? So I think a lot of people in these skill trees are going around and just picking every single thing and going, okay, I'm going to level up this and this and this. Regardless of which one you're doing, you don't normally want to double dip. But you only want what you need. So for Jeff's tick rate on his primary fire is so quick, and he's giving off so many instances of damage that you want to build him precision, right? So I've got 11,000 precision damage and I've got a high precision rate. And I intend to use him for his primary fire. So my main source of damage for Jeff is primary fire, right? Does that make sense? So we look at all of these little glyphs here and we go, okay, what actually benefits my primary fire? So we've got this one, you know, things that are increasing his fire speed. And then you've got something like this, which is increasing how much max ammo I have, right? Which is completely fine. But I only want one because my gear is what's actually giving me an extra 4,511 ammo, right? The actual charge without the gear is giving me like an extra 50 ammo. So I only put 1 point in it because you need 1 point to get the effect on the gear, right? And I also have this, but that just gives me loads of damage. We're not going to get into it. So I have all of these things that are going to affect, like say this is primary fire, this is primary fire. All of these ones I've got on a primary fire. So we look at this one, and this is if I want to shoot down bubbles and blow them up and do huge AoE damage. But my whole point is primary fire damage, right? So I don't want to be putting a point in this or maxing it out, and same for this as well, because this is blowing up bubbles, which is a different ability. We don't want to be using that. And then we take the points that we would normally put in here, and we would put them into more damage here. So we'd always max out total damage bonus first. We don't want to be maxing out output boost. Because if we look over here, it actually says that the more and higher your total output boost is, the less damage you actually get from it. So this isn't really going to be your main focus. Sure, I have 439, but that's just through to traits. So we're going to go ahead and max our total damage bonus. And that goes for everyone, not just Jeff. You always want this max because that doesn't have diminishing returns. And then you're also going to want to go ahead and increase, let's have a look here what we got. Your critical damage. Because you're going to be doing criticals very, very often. We can see on mine here, it's 49%. So most of your hits are going to be doing critical, and you want your critical damage to be high. Now, because I'm specifically building precision damage, as you can see, I'm not focusing on critical, but most people are going to want to have critical damage. And I 50% of my shots and instances of damage are going to be critical damage. So I want that to be as high as humanly possible. And then we're going to scroll down. And then we're going to do critical rate as well, because we want that as high as possible. The more crits we're hitting, the more damage we're dealing, right? One of the most important things for certain characters is precision damage. Now, precision damage is insane. It's like a super crit, essentially. So you want your precision rate to be as high as you can, because you want to be getting those ticks. Now, 11% doesn't seem that high, but when you think I'm probably hitting, as Jeff, essentially 200 times in a few seconds, I'm going to be triggering that pretty often, and I'm going to be doing, you know, like I said, precision is like a super critical. It's doing insane amounts of damage, and it's doing an insane amount of damage, and then it's amplified by 11,000%. That's insane. So we want to make sure that our precision rate and our precision damage are really high. And the game doesn't make this very good, crazy to understand, but these two little things at the bottom that you have, this is times by. So this precision damage here isn't 200%, it's times 200%. So you see how my precision damage here is 11,000. If I was to take this off, you're going to see it doesn't drop down by 200%. It drops down by 6,000%, right? So for characters, ideally the way you want to do it is you want to figure out what your primary source of damage is. Is it your primary fire? Is it like on Blade, is it his spin? On Punisher, is he just really good at killing bosses? And he wants to just build loads of boss damage. Basically, if they've got a really, really high tick rate, you want to be slamming precision damage because they're going to be getting the most out of it. And then we go to gear, right? And obviously I have legendaries and I've been trying to farm for good stuff. But you also want to make sure that what you're equipping is helpful towards what you're doing. So, well, we've got loads of legendaries here. Well, I did until I sold them. And you can see I've got this one here and this one. You're probably thinking, why am I picking this one over this one? Sure, it's higher on the ladder. But you want to see that the runes here, the extended effects, are kind of mirroring my primary damage, right? So we've got the second one down, Belly Full of Mischief, which is actually increasing my ammo by 4,011. The more ammo I have, the more I fire, the more damage I'm doing, right? But we're also increasing our critical hit rate, which we want up, and we're doing precision rate, which we also want up. And then we've also got Fork Stream, which is just my primary fire again. My primary fire is then doing an extra 885% damage. Now, if we look at this one here, we got to think of all the things we don't want that don't help us. So bonus damage to healthy enemies. We don't want that because the moment they're no longer healthy, because it's like 30% or something. If they're like, maybe it's above 50, I don't know what the exact amount is. But that completely disappears the moment we get them like under 50% health, right? We've got Shark Zone Enhancement, which is when I set the floor on fire. I don't want that because that's got nothing to do with my primary fire. So we don't really want that on. It's not bad to have it on Jeff because we are getting a lot of ticks from the fire damage, but we don't really want it. Critical damage, sure, that's nice, but we're not building critical damage. Although we like it, we don't want it. We want precision rate, and you can see how on the other one we've got 5% precision rate up, so we're hitting it more often. And then we've got Fork Stream. Obviously, it's weaker, so we don't want it, right? But we look at like some of these bonus boss damage. I don't really care about that. But bonus boss damage is really good, and you always want some. You can see how we've got about 2,000 here. But you always want some because bosses have crazy health, so you always want to make sure you're doing damage to bosses. But you got to look out for the silly little glyphs that you don't want. Like I said, bonus against healthy enemies. This isn't a good one. This is a really, really bad glyph because the moment you get them under healthy, you're now doing 412% less damage than you would if you just had something that was like a total outboost. These, I mean, that's just health. You always want something that helps you with your healing rune, whether it's giving you more charges or the cooldown. More health is always useful, especially in the harder ranks. Let's have a look. It's difficult because we're only talking about Jeff here. I could talk about other characters, but it would take years. So why would we want this one over this one, right? So we look at it and we go, okay, bonus damage. We definitely want that because bosses need to be killed within a certain amount of time or they become enraged and then they essentially one-shot you. So boss damage, very, very important. But the big one here is the precision damage, right? We're getting almost an extra 2,000% precision damage. Absolutely insane. We look at this one, it's only giving us 815. And we don't care about this block rate. We couldn't give a monkeys about it. This one's got total output boost, 313, so it's just increasing our damage. But the big thing is that when we eat people with our ultimate, we're gaining a 29% increase in our total damage for every 10 we eat. So this is massive, where this one doesn't give it us. This is just enhancing if we wanted to use Healing Bubble as an attack, right? So we don't want that. And you've got to make sure when you're looking at equipment, you want to make sure, okay, does that fit the one specific thing? But as Jeff, I'm specifically looking for precision damage and anything that increases my primary fire. I don't want stuff that's just like, oh, it's an extra 550 damage output boost. I don't care about that. I want things that are specifically interacting with the one thing I'm using for damage. So yet again here, you can see we've got another almost 2k precision damage. And you'll see down here on the C, reservoir enhancement. We don't care about this. This is our secondary fire, our little ball that we shoot out that knocks people up. I don't want that on there because it's not primary fire, right? It's only an add-on, and all my damage is like an aqua burst is like pew, pew, pew. It's not triggering loads of instances of damage, where my primary fire is constantly ticking. It's super, super quick, so that's going to affect our precision damage. So I don't want it on, but this is the best one I have, so I'm having it on. You notice how I've also got an unused one here, which is, yet again, healing bubble pop, but I don't want to use my bubbles because it's not ticking. So when you're going for characters, let's say Punisher is another high tick rate character where he's having tons of instances of damage because he's shooting out 6 bullets at once. So we look at like traits on here and we go, okay, what's going to amplify our loads of ticks of damage, more precision, of course. And I don't have Punisher leveled up, which is why, you know, his stats are so terrible on here. But he's essentially really good at killing bosses. We want to stack loads of boss damage on there. He's not very good at killing crowds. But we look at this and we go, okay, so I want as many points on these blue stats as possible as damage, right? I want as much damage as humanly possible. So we look at that, and that's increasing how many bullets come out of our gun. So that's just more damage. We want that maxed. And you've got this one here, which is again kind of like Jeff, where it's ammo capacity, right? So this is increasing our ammo by like 50 initially without the gear on. But because we've got gear on, it's giving us like an extra 700. So we only actually need one skill point in this to trigger the gear effect to give us more, because the actual skill here is only giving us like 50. So if we increase that, it's only give us an extra 50 on 50. So we don't need it. We just need one to trigger the gear passive, and that's it. And let's have a look at the other ones here. So which would be useless. So hitbox for his primary fire. This is pointless. I mean, unless you're blind, you don't need this on, because I mean he has auto aim, right? So you just shoot them in the head. It's almost impossible to not be hitting enemies in the head with this. So do we need our hitbox to be bigger on bullets? No, because that's not increasing our damage. It's not increasing anything. It's just if you're maybe a blind person, no offense, blind people, you don't need that on, right? And another one for this as well. Adjudication bullets have a 20% chance to knock back enemies. It's like good for keeping us alive, maybe. But what I found is that our fire rate's so insanely high that it actually makes it a lot harder to hit enemies. And you want it to be easy. You want your life to be easy. So we take that point out there, and we're going to go put it in precision damage or precision rate or critical damage and critical rate, because that's going to increase the damage we have. And you kind of see the pattern is you need to figure out what your character specifically is really good at. I haven't played Squirrel Girl and I haven't played 4 yet, but yet again, you just look at the one ability and go, okay, I'm going to be charging through enemies 24/7. So I need everything that relates to charging through enemies. And that's like Blade. I said his dash, his little spin. We want that, right? So you've got ancestral speed. I haven't done Blade. I played him a little bit, but the idea is that his spin is scaling off his flat damage on his primary fire. So the last thing we need on here is attack speed, because attack speed isn't actually increasing our damage. Our whole goal is to be spinning 24/7. We're essentially a Beyblade. And there is one here that makes it do. I mean, this is terrible. Like, don't have this on as well. Like, this, so all this does is make you shoot out an extra like blade that doesn't do anything. It does 2 damage. It says deals 2 damage to an enemy. It's useless. It's terrible. And when you upgrade it, it just increases the range of it. It's terrible. You would never want that skill on. Oops, went too far back. You'd never want that skill on ever, because it's terrible. And because we don't put on that skill, we can then put that into like extra traits here, which is higher crit rate and yada yada yada. And so you want to be building, and same for these as well, right? This is when I originally didn't know how to play Blade. But you want to be scaling, he's all completely scaling off primary attack damage, not attack speed. So you want to be building, not attack speed, but damage. So you've got to want his ability cooldown higher instead of his primary attack speed, because his attack speed has nothing to do with his spinning. Anyway, this is just like a brief guide. I don't know if this is even going to help anyone, but pretty much every game that I've been running into, I've been seeing teammates that have essentially been doing no damage at all. We had this one guy who was trolling us with no armor, so we did no damage in that game. But you can see how like we've got the Squirrel Girl. I just played with them and they said they didn't understand how to make stuff. You can see how here I've got 13 points in my Splishy Splash and 3 in here, and you can see how she's got 17. So this just means that she's gone ahead and leveled up every single ability which is why she's doing little damage. If she was to take our points out of that for the stuff she doesn't actually need and put it into total output damage, she'd be doing miles better. And 4 was pretty decent, but you can see how, yet again, he's got all of his points. You don't want all your points in your traits, right? You want all your points in pure raw stats. So you want to be increasing your stats. And that's kind of what I'm just trying to show here, is that you really want to be paying attention to the extra effects on your armor, because you want them to mirror the thing you're going for. I mean, look at these damages. It's insane to me. But when you're seeing that someone's maxed out on an ability, that's probably a bad thing. Do they need all these extra abilities? Definitely not. You need to be putting them into raw stats. That's why you're probably not doing very well. You just got to look at it and go, what do I do? And I guess I could do guides for each character to show people how to do it. I don't know. These probably already exist on YouTube, right? But yeah, I don't know. I'm not professional, so I'm ending the video here. I hope this helped. Any questions, I'll try and answer them if anyone ever comments. Bye.